Good morning. Today is the 23rd of February 2024. I'm going to go through some of my trading levels for today. No news today, so just some oil news a bit at 1 o'clock, so quite a quiet day. Interesting that we've hit all-time highs in the pre-market, and that is one of the levels I'm watching. Get my pen open. So what I'm looking for, just before I go, let's start off with the daily, and something I want to point out. On the daily, we've got this big wide range candle yesterday, this candle here, and then a corresponding bar, that candle there. So a wide range bar, biggish candle, but look at the previous days. We've got a small bar, and then that bar we've got, both those bars are kind of same volume but narrow range bars. So potentially running out of steam a bit over here at the top, but we're just going to stick with the momentum, stick with the trend until we break down through this area, which is this trend line. My mouse is a bit wobbly today. I've got a new mouse, a new trackball, so I'm kind of getting used to it. One of the best features is it lets me draw a straight line in either direction, which is quite good, by holding down the key on my keyboard, or I can just go back to normal. So it's the most exciting thing I've done today, sorting out this mouse. Anyway, so that's what I want to be aware of, the wide range bar on a same volume bar as a narrow range candle, so a potential anomaly. So let's go back into the 1 hour, and so got a few levels. There's we've got watch for a break, which we're kind of breaking through the previous pivot, all-time high, and a retest of yesterday's high, and also the pre-market area for the continuation of the trend up. I quite like the bounce of the pre-market low area, so we come into here, I'm looking for a potential bounce. That's at 50.90 to 50.91. Pre-market highs 51.10, 51.08. The area isn't now, but it's high risk if we do it straight after the market. What I'm really looking for is a bit of a pullback. I prefer pullback down in this area here, but I'd also consider, that's the only place I really like, maybe this area of confidence as well. This area here, which is 50.80. So they're the two areas. I'm going to mark that up on the chart with a line. So 50.80 for potential bounce, and 50.90. And finally, I want to watch this pivot. Let's just zoom out a bit. So on the pullback, I'm looking for a bounce around 50.70, 67, so which is this pivot here. And that is the highs from Monday the 12th. So that's kind of my plan today. I'm looking for a trend continuation, a pullback to this point. If we do break down the pre-market low, this area here, then I will consider a potential short. We have got a bit of a gap to fill, this area below, right down to the bounce area. 50.81, that's that area of confidence. So got a couple of potential targets of it in with a short. But we've just broken all-time highs now, and there's no real volume up here at the moment. Just looking at level 2, 51.15 is the next area. There's 686 orders sitting there, so 51.15 around this area here. So we'll keep an eye on that for potential rejection. 51.15. That area there, or that could be an area we could see a lot of buying and selling, and that's it really. So that's all I'm watching today. To recap quickly, look for the bounce off this pivot, which is Monday's pivot, Monday the 12th, and that's around 50.70. A potential pullback, and then bounce at 50.80, and again pre-market low at 50.90. They're kind of the areas. Or I'm watching for a break and retest of the current or yesterday's high, which is price is 51.08. So kind of looking for a bounce over that area there, and that's all I'm watching for today, and keep it as simple as possible. So looking at SPY next, same really. Quite like the bounce at 503.30, this area here. Maybe I've got this trend line, it's not really in play anymore, let's get rid of it. Pre-market low, if we hold, we can watch out for a bounce. Area of confidence as well, we've got this area here, 506 for a potential bounce, and then we've got the break and retest, 508. And then obviously if we break pre-market low, we've got a potential short. Look for confirmation, and we've got a few target areas, 503 and 506. Same as ES. Looking at Qs next. Okay, so Qs a little bit different. We've got this area here, so I kind of want to watch for a bounce over that area and a pullback. So quite like a break and retest of 438.97, or yesterday's the pre-market high area is 439. If we pull back pre-market low, we can watch for a bounce. I like that as well because it's a pivot. I like it as a pivot as well. So that's 437.20 for a bounce. And then we've got yesterday's low, which is not quite as good as the ES or the SPY area, so probably nothing really. Then we're back into this chop area. That's all I can see on Qs. Nasdaq. Get rid of that, we don't need that now. Yeah, same again. Break and retest of all-time high. We did not hit all-time high yesterday. I thought we might have done. So let's mark this area. So 18,100 basically. Break and retest of that area. 18,100 is about just below. And then a bounce at 18,000. That's a nice significant number as well. So this area here. Watch out for a bounce. If we pull back, we've got this big point of control volume, excess volume over in this area, so we can probably watch this point of control line, 17,850 for a potential bounce. You've got yesterday's low area as well for a bounce, so this entire area. Okay. Oil next. Looks like it's a squeeze is on. So if we can get over this area here, $78, we can look for a break and retest for the long, with a target at 82.34, this area from August, October, November, so this kind of area there. And obviously we've got a bounce area at 72, this pivot. Well, the drawing's not very accurate. That area there, 72. So gold. We were yesterday looking at potential head and shoulders pattern down at the neckline, it broke down, it came back out, has invalidated it now. Kind of, that's the invalidation anyway. There's not much I really like apart from the rejection from this level again, but we've just rejected that already in the pre-market. So we can watch for a bounce. This area here. I'm going to just draw some new lines in. That area there. So these are the two areas we're watching. Either a bounce off of pre-market low, which happens to be an area of confluence, bottoms of candles, tops of candles, bottoms of candles, and then a break or a bounce off there. We've already bounced once, so we can look for a double bottom. What you could be looking at right now is a bit of a bear flag, and we're looking at, we can probably put those together if I draw that. And then just clone it. Fits in that one better. So you could say we've broken out, but we did that previously. Let's just clone that again. Let's put it there. Potentially that's our area for the breakout. But I don't really see, we've got to get over 2045 to continue to trend up. But we could play this channel, we're not there yet, but that's an area for potential rejection. I don't play the channels, I play levels really. We've got this area down here for a potential bounce, but nothing yet. But anyway, this could be a bit of a bear flag. We might have already broken out of it if we take the inner side. It's kind of a break and retest off this channel. So potentially watch for a long to continue that trend up. M2K. Really don't like this chart much. Is this a bear flag we're putting in? So hourly sell off, bit of a pullback. You can see reducing volume. So, but that's reducing volume while it's coming down. But definitely, look on the daily, be clearer. It just shows actual volume rather than, yeah. You can see reducing volume. We've got a bit of a blip in the middle. Reducing down. Pullback. Pullback, pullback, green day, and then we've got today's volume. All I can see is riding this 50 moving average. We rode it there, we rode it here, we rode it here, potentially we rode it here, so possibly we look for a breakout above 2021 for long. And then we got the rejection area at 2097. Next is YM. Hasn't quite made yesterday's all-time high, but that's our level for potential higher risk rejection or break and retest long. This area here for potential bounce, 39,100. Obviously 39,000 is a psychological number. And I don't see anything then until 3,900, that area there. Just mark it off. Yeah, a bounce at 3,900 really. Otherwise we've got a bounce at yesterday's low, which is around the tops of these pivots as well. The previous pivot there. and obviously tops of candles over here as well. So probably the higher probability would be 38,900 area for a bounce. And SPX, if you know, I've been watching 5,000, we're a bit above that, still watching that for a bounce. But if we can get back down into 50-40, then I'll be looking for a potential long. I've got my alert set. I'm looking for a long there, but I'll take it using the MES. And that's pretty much it. Obviously got the break and retest of yesterday's high, or today's high. Let's look at Bitcoin for a second. The daily, look at that trend line. Touched it there, kind of couldn't touch it a third time. There's a potential 50,000 is a potential bounce area, psychological number, and if it pulls back, and you've got a few pivots we can watch. We've got this area here for bounce. That's basically tops of these candles over here, tops and bottoms of candles on these days. And you've got a potential bounce area down at 38,680 to 40,000, but still looking strong. Volume wise, declining volume on that pullback as well. So we've got volume declining, price declining. Normally that's a sign of weakness from the sellers, and we may look for another leg up possibly. And then let's just look at MES before I go. Don't forget we've got quite a lot of sellers, over 700 now, sitting over at 51.15. So this area here, big day yesterday as well, big moving day, so potentially, usually we might see a bit of a pullback. But play the chart, I'm watching this level, pre-market low. If it holds, I want to watch for a bounce. If it breaks down, I'm looking for a short. Got a higher risk bounce at 50.81, because I really want to find a bit of a pullback to continue the trend. But I quite like 50.70, 50.67 area for a bounce. And that's come off of that pivot there, and that was from the 12th of February. So that's really it really. I'm looking for a bounce at 50.70, higher risk bounce, kind of a pullback, this area of confluence. But that was only kind of a bit of pre-market and a bit of yesterday's price action. So if we come back down to that area, I'm looking for a bounce as well. A bounce at the pre-market low, if we can hold it. So I'm basically looking for trend continuation, but I know that the daily was a big volume spike, and it had a similar size candle on the daily than the last few days. So potentially a sign of tiredness. Or we're watching a break and retest off the pre-market high, which it was yesterday's high, but now I'm adding one more to that. I want to watch for a break and retest of yesterday's high, so that's the extra one, because when I started the video we were right at yesterday's high, and now we're over it. So I'm watching for a bounce at yesterday's high, a bounce at the pre-market low, and a bounce at 50.70. They're the main areas, possibly 50.80. Let's look at the daily just to go back to the volume discussion. So we've got slightly above average volume for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, but we had all narrow range candles, and then we had this big green candle, and it's the same volume. So it just shows that there wasn't, even though we had a big day, there wasn't the same amount of volume we had for the previous days, and considering it was a shorter week this week as well, just shows there's just no buyers and sellers, probably maybe the volume's a bit less having a short week. But there we are. So I'm watching for a potential reject at 51.15. I won't take that level. That's only because I've got big area of, I'll show you, big area of sellers sitting there. 51.20 actually, 51.15's just gone. And I can see that on the book map as well, lots of big, looks like limit orders sitting there. Not the book map, I meant the order flow. 51.15, that area there has been triggered. We've still got sellers coming in. Okay, that's it. Hopefully this video's helped you. Kind of want to go with trend continuation or look for a reject below pre-market low. And that's it for me. Okay, trade safe and manage your risk well.